Hello, hello, hello. I hope that you are doing well, and I hope you're feeling brilliantly expansive today. If you're not feeling expansive, then buckle up. You are in the right place. I am Araceli Ware, and I am here to empower you to find clarity and confidence in your workspaces and beyond. Today, I want to talk about being emotional at work. Have you ever heard something like, don't be so emotional when you're in the workspace? Or, ooh, that's not professional. Don't do that. Maybe you've heard, you need to take it down a notch. It's just too much. Before we get started, just a reminder, hit the like and subscribe button on this video if you like what you hear today. All right, let's talk about being emotional at work. I want to talk about why being emotional at work is appropriate. Like, work is emotional. Here's how I want to talk about it, because if you're one of those people that hear don't be so emotional at work and it's frustrating to you, I'm hoping that I can thread the needle on that. Here's why work is so emotional. I have three reasons that I captured that I want to go through. The number one reason I think work is so emotional is because our world literally requires us to have money to eat and have shelter. That means that we have warmth and safety and nutrients for our bodies to survive. So when we go to work, what are we doing? We're earning money because in order to eat and have shelter and be warm and be safe, we have to have that money that we need in order to purchase those things. That's just the reality that we live in. So, work is emotional, number one, because our very survival depends on us making the money, which means we have to have a way to make the money. And for most people, it's going to work, right? So, that's the number one reason why work is so emotional. The second reason is most people spend 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day at work. Most people are spending so much of their time in their workspaces. When you're spending so much of your time in your workspace, you're not at home. You're not doing the things that you love unless your work involves doing something you love. That's different. Congratulations if that's you. I don't think that that's most people. What else are you doing when you're at work? Who are you not with? You are not with your loved ones. So if we're taking 8, 10, 12 hours a day to be at work, let's take the 10-hour example. If you're taking 10 hours a day to be at work, there's 24 hours in a day. Okay. So you have 14 left. Let's say you sleep 8 hours because you should, because we need sleep to function at a high level, right? So that's 18 hours out of 24, right? So that's 6 hours left. Let's say you spend an hour, you should probably spend a little bit more, an hour or two eating, preparing your food, maybe putting the food away, putting the dishes away, right? Gosh, so what is that? 4 hours left in a day? What do you do with those other 4 hours? Potentially you commute. Potentially you have errands to run. Maybe you have to go to the doctor. Maybe you have to go pay a bill. Maybe you have to go out and get supplies. Maybe one of your kids needs help with a school project. And then of course, you got to get your kids to bed. Maybe do a little movement, stretching, working out, downtime, and then you go to bed every single day, right? So the majority of that time is spent at work. That is emotional. That is emotional because that is where most of our effort and time and energy goes to in order for us to be able to survive. We're taking that time away from our loved ones, the things we love to do, our friends, our families, our communities, so that we can have that foundational thing, number one, right? Shelter and food. Number three reason workspaces are emotional is because workplace culture is increasingly lacks empathy. All right, so output from companies, whether you're working in a company that provides services, software, technology, I don't know, products, there is a there's a lot of pressure to deliver at a high volume, faster, quicker, cheaper, right? There's so much pressure to deliver at such a high speed and such a low cost. This isn't anybody's fault. This is the way things have evolved. That's where I'm going to leave that. But what has happened is even though we might have leaders of companies who mean the best and have these values and have these mission statements of we take care of our people, still at the tactical level and the individual contributor level, there's a lot of pressure on those people. Faster, sooner, cheaper, hurry, do it more innovatively, right? Be more innovative, but in a shorter period of time, deliver more quickly. So when you have that demand happening, what's happening is it's squeezing out the human touch, the human empathy, because the focus is on the bottom line. There's so much focus that the scales have tipped. That is emotional because the people that are being impacted by that are being smothered. That lack of human empathy is really taking a toll on everyone. So work is emotional. Where emotions get misunderstood in the workplace is because of this lack of empathy. People start feeling this pressure. It goes on forever, and they're just like, I'm tired. One thing I hear a lot from people is there's so much turnover in my leadership that I feel like I can't even catch a breath. So people are willing to work hard and keep up with the pace and deliver at the pace that the market is asking, thinking, I'm going to grow, right? I'm going to get to the next level. I'm going to get a promotion. I'm going to get a salary increase. And what do I hear from people? Leadership is turning over almost yearly, if not more. And so people feel like you feel like you're spending your time getting your leaders up to date. You got a new leader and you're like, cool, I'm going to educate my leader on my capabilities, what I do, how I add value to the organization, because my goal is still to attain that increase or that promotion, climb and achieve my goals. Because I want to continue providing more for my friends and family, or I want to like also have an opportunity to grow too and add more value, right? But when there's so much turnover in leadership, it becomes defeating. Because when you do this over and over again as an individual contributor, it becomes exhausting, right? When am I going to get an opportunity to have enough time with someone to prove my value so that I can grow in the way that I am hoping to grow? We also have this natural desire to be successful because your livelihood depends on it. So when things kind of keep going in circles and you feel like your growth isn't happening, it ends up being this kind of spiral of frustration, especially if you don't feel like you have control on the outcome of your success and your growth and your compensation. So it does become emotional when you feel like, I just want to add value. I'm here on this earth for a reason. While I'm spending my time here, I want to make sure I'm doing an awesome job. I want to make sure that I'm showing up in the best way that I know how every single day. So when you feel like you're in that spiral and that spin and it doesn't feel like anything is increasing or you're really adding the value that you know you strongly can and desire to do so, it becomes an emotional, frustrating process because it feels like it's out of our control. Here's the kicker though. These emotions become misunderstood because there's all of this other underlining stuff happening that is really evoking a response where we're responding from our emotions from a space of fear. And the fear is, what if I never grow? What if I can't provide that better shelter? What if I'm always going paycheck to paycheck to feed my family? Right? So there's this fear driving this emotional response. And that's where emotions get a bad rap. That's where you start hearing things like, oh, you're being unprofessional, or take it down a notch, right? Being too emotional. Yeah, it's freaking emotional. It's okay to say that. However, we can use our emotions in a way that helps us be stronger in the workplace. So, emotions can play a strong role by helping you gauge your connection to the mission and the vision of the company and your work. So, if you're in this frustrating place with your emotions about your workspace, try to change your perspective, pivot into curiosity, and ask yourself, what are my values when I go to work? What is this driving urge that I have to add value? What am I trying to give back? What am I trying to spend my time doing? Because our time is so precious, right? We are here and we might as well be doing something awesome with the time. So start being curious about, what is it about my need to give back? What is it? What is in those values? What am I really feeling like and desiring to give? And see if you can find parallels with those values of what you're trying to give and the connection to the mission and vision of the work that you do, the mission of the company. This can be a really, really strong and powerful exercise, because if you can get into a space where you find the alignment between what you want to give back, your values, and what the company's values are, or what your day to day function is, that is going to give you a source of energy to be able to feed off, to be more powerful, and be able to just really focus on, this is one space that I have control over, and I know that I add value in this way. And this is all about you gaining the confidence to get your bearings on your energy and really focus that emotion and use it in a way that empowers you to drive your success. So understanding that, it will help you understand the value that you add when you go to work every single day. You'll start understanding, like, I'm this is what I want to give back and this is the value that I add. Maybe then you start understanding the areas where you want to add more value, where you want to grow. And when you get to this point, that's where things start getting really exciting, because your curiosity is leading you to a place where not only are you aligning your values and how you want to give back to the mission and the vision of the company, but now you're seeing things going on and you're saying, I could be really good at that. Let me help you. Right. So now you're kind of adding a different way to entice your leadership to allow you to add value in a way that really gratifies you. And it's going to help them. It's going to take the guesswork out for them, right? Because people running companies are busy. It's not that they don't want to help people grow, it's that they're busy, that they're also under this pressure, right? So when you can figure out, this is where I want to grow, this is what I want to do, that's the direction I'm going in, things become really powerful there. Tying your value to areas that you are excited about will become very rewarding to you. And that fear and that frustrated energy will start to pivot. Instead of spending your time giving energy to that frustration and that fear, you're now going to be pivoting and pouring your energy into doing and contributing in ways that are rewarding to you. And once you can get to that point, now you have a case to advocate for yourself. And that is a positive use of emotions. Advocating for yourself is such a great way to use your emotions. You can do this by setting boundaries to honor your health and well-being. You can set boundaries to honor your loved ones so that you have the time and space and focus and presence to be with them. You can advocate for yourself by advocating areas that you want to grow in the company. Because when you're pivoting and looking at things from how do I add value and where do I thrive, now you can go back and say, look, here's where I'm really adding value. And by the way, I'm volunteering for these things because I thrive in them. Let's talk about my growth. Totally different emotional conversation. And now you're having it from a perspective of really being grounded and confident instead of spinning and being out of control with those emotions, right? And then, of course, advocating for yourself in a way that advocates that your pay is equal to the value that you are adding. I hear that a lot from people. I don't feel like I'm making the money that I'm worth, or I don't feel like I have the authority to do my job. Well, you need to get into a space where you are advocating for that, but advocating in a way that the emotions are coming from your strength, your power, and your confidence, and not the frustration and the fear. It's a totally different message. And it's hard to respond to the first one. There's a lot to unpack with that one. But this other way is so much more constructive and so much easier. It's going to make your life easier. You're going to be more at peace when you're at home with your loved ones or just out and about in your life. And your leaders are going to be like, phew, somebody thought of that thing we got to do over there. Now I don't have to go figure out who's going to do it or if I'm going to bring somebody into it, right? So here's what I say about being emotional at work. Be emotional at work. I dare you. I dare you to be emotional at work. Be emotional at work, though, in a way that is constructive for the value that you want to add and the way that you want to thrive. Remember to like and subscribe this video. Hit the bell if you want to be alerted when the next video is released. And you can also sign up to receive bonus tips by signing up for my newsletter. Just click the link in the description below this video. Thank you for being here, for giving me the opportunity to support you on your journey. And I hope this information served you well. Namaste, sweet soul.